Karin.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. What about you?
Good. How's everything in Bratislava?
Everything's fine?
Good. Did you want to run through your presentation, or would you like me to do that? How would you like to handle this? I know time is short.
Yeah, I have a bit of a problem because I have other commitments in 10 minutes.
Okay, go for 10
So
Why don't you
I'm afraid it's a bit short right now.
Good. Why don't you go for 10 minutes, and I'll put your slides up here, and then I'll finish what you don't get around to.
Okay.
Okay, go.
Well, let me very briefly introduce myself. My name is Karin. I am originally from Germany, living with my Peruvian boyfriend in Slovakia, studying in the US and working in Spain. This is how I came about to study intercultural business communication, intercultural project management, and other things intercultural. And yeah, I would like to give you a brief overview of what intercultural management means for entrepreneurs. Can you put up the slides?
They're up.
They're up. Okay. Yeah.
What is culture?
Because I can't see anything on your screen. Yeah. Okay. What is culture? There is a lot of misunderstandings that culture is about nationality, about race, about ethnicity. But culture includes a lot more. It includes, for example, which education you have, which interest you have. It includes demographic factors, not so much if you're 31 or 42 years old, but if you're a digital native or a digital immigrant, for example. And there are numerous aspects that play into culture. And if we go to the next slide, myths and mistakes. Yeah, I can see the slides now. Some common myths that exist about culture is that people from my country have the same culture, and people from other countries have a different culture. I can tell you one thing. I grew up in more or less rural Germany in a small town. I spent all my childhood and my adolescence with our neighbor's daughter. We went to school together, we played together, we did everything together. I have now much more in common with a random software developer from Pakistan than with this girl. So it's just the way you take, because my interests are different, my background is different, my education is different, so it's not much about being from the same country, having the same culture. And I'm sure that all of you will agree that somebody from New York is different than somebody from Idaho, for example, or somebody from Arizona or Texas, although they're from the same country. Yeah, we've already said culture is not only about nationality or race. The old learning do's and taboos of a country has proven to by far not be sufficient to do business with other cultures. And you should also not just adapt to other cultures. Can you forward one more? Yeah. The single biggest mistake that you can possibly make in intercultural encounters is to perceive a different culture as deficient. They're simply different. That's it. They're not better, not worse than anybody else. They're just different. Okay. If we go to the next slide.
It's up.
Why is it? What's it got to do with me as an entrepreneur? Why should I worry about intercultural competence? So, can you forward one? Thanks. We have all the modern information technology, we have infrastructure, we have internet, and even a one-man entrepreneurial business can use sales opportunities on a global scale now. We can find new customers. You can build up networks with other entrepreneurs, with other companies, with other people that have complementary skills that you have. And you can find new sales channels, obviously. You can very easily build up an internet shop. You contract with PayPal and you can accept credit card payments from all over the world. So it's all open to you there for even for a very small one-man company. And I think we've gone a bit far in those slides. Yeah. Can you go back a bit? Back. I think we need to go on the previous slide. I can't see this properly. The one that's heading, it's headed, why is intercultural competence important for entrepreneurs?
Maybe it's the next slide.
No, there is one in between.
Nope.
Maybe it's not.
Lost in translation.
It's hidden in your. Okay.
We adapt.
Yeah, we say. You can access totally different resources. You can find suppliers worldwide. You can find new materials, new ideas, new information, and you can also find employees, business partners on a worldwide basis. But obviously, you will also find new competitors if you're on the global market, and those competitors will be for the market itself, for the resources, and for employees, and for everything you're out there. So you'd better be prepared. So now we come to the slide that Les has put up now. What is intercultural competence? What do I have to know as an entrepreneur? We're one back, Les. One slide.
Backwards?
Backwards. This one now. Intercultural competence is not a competence in itself. It is more a combination or an application of strategic competence, professional competence, social competence, and individual competence in international surroundings. So, for example, strategic competence, you have public relations and marketing. If you take the intercultural component, of course, if you do marketing for a different country, let's say for some country in South America, of course you have to adapt your marketing, not only in that you do it in Spanish or Portuguese, but also the content of the marketing should be different. For example, if you market something for family, you put a photo of a family. A family in the US usually consists of father, mother, and 2 children, more or less. A family in South America consists to anything up to 27 people, because they even consider their third-degree cousin close family. So you see that there is you have to consider culture. If you take in the area of professional competence, for example, you have negotiation skills there. Negotiation is much different in other cultures. For example, in China, you have different decision makers. You need to talk to different people. You need to form relationships before you even start negotiating. If we look at social competence, one example I take out, conflict resolution. Even the definition of what is a conflict is different in cultures. Something that might upset you totally might be very normal in another culture. Also, whom do you talk to about the conflict? How do you go about to resolve it? Can you address it directly or indirectly? Everything depends on culture. And individual competence, language is obvious, but other things like tolerance of uncertainty we're in the Anglo-American cultural context, we're very much black and white. Things are either right or wrong. Into Asia, they have, for example, this context of yin and yang, which are opposites, but they are always parts of each other, and only the opposites combined make a whole. So they have a totally different tolerance level of uncertainty than we have. And if you manage to, as entrepreneurs, to transfer all these business competency, the hard skills and the soft skills, into an intercultural context, then you will be successful internationally. And yeah, the last slide I want to show you is how can an entrepreneur acquire this intercultural competence. We nowadays go away from doing these trainings for do's and don'ts because they maybe cover 3% of the whole picture and they're very stereotyping, and this is actually not what we do anymore. The best results have been achieved with a mix of off-the-job training and on-the-job coaching, and the training should normally include some general cultural sensitivity, that you get an understanding of your own culture and how other cultures can be different, that and then some influence of culture on the entrepreneur's specific business, and intercultural interaction models in general. How do you interact? It's about negotiation, about problem solving, about conflict resolution, about communication, and so on. And you normally use a mix of methods for this training. The coaching part should be on the job. That can be an individual coaching of the entrepreneur or the entire team if you're more than one in your company. And usually this is done as a blended learning nowadays, so you have a lot of online sessions and not so much sessions in a certain setting. And very important factor is intercultural problem solving, because you will always run into problems, and the coach can help you get out of those and solve them, and create a very good cooperation with your international business partners. And yeah, last not least, I would like to end with a quote. Intercultural mindset: the mind is like a parachute, it only works when it's open. And with that, I would like to thank you very much for your, and sorry we had to run through this so fast.
Karin, with your permission, I'm going to give out your email address where they can reach you with any questions.
Yes, I've already sent a PDF of this presentation.
Yeah.
Anyone who would like it can get it, and I put my address in there. So if there is any questions, or if
yeah, we can make it available to anybody who's interested. We'd be happy to do that.
Just shoot away with any questions. Send them per email or contact me on the usual social networks. So you'll find me everywhere.
Right. Karin, thank you so much. I know you got to run.
Okay, thanks for having me. I wish you all a great day.
Thank you, Karin. We'll speak soon.